business can have really human values. And so I came up with this acronym called GECKO. And GECKO is essentially a model for good business. That's how I like to think about it. It stands for gratitude, empathy, care, kindness, and optimism. And all of these values can be instilled in different ways. So for example, gratitude is really the approach to your clients. It's not like I have to help you. It's more, I get to help you. And how does that change absolutely everything I'm doing? And what's cool about it is there is scientific research to back this. Gratitude is the basis of happiness. And so if you can practice gratitude, you have a much more chance of actually being happy, since that is really the groundwork. And then we have empathy. Empathy is really about understanding your clients in the nittiest and grittiest of ways. I like to do this through a consult, but it doesn't have to be a particularly long consult. Just a 20-minute one that's really effective will go a really long way. In the past 10 years, literally all of my consult calls have been 20 minutes, and I can show you exactly how to do that, what questions to ask so that you really get to the depth of the problem that somebody's having, or the depth of the opportunity that they see that they feel like maybe they're not capitalizing on or they're not doing anything with. So empathy is another really core value, which is just understanding the client. Then we have care. Care to me is like, first of all, it's embedded in good service, right? So one of the most famous examples of care in a company comes from Zappos. God rest the founder's soul, Tony Hsieh passed away, but he had this philosophy that you wanted to delight the customer. I'm sure a lot of us have heard this, but he embedded care so much in his customer service. There's a really famous story around this where him and a buddy of his got drunk one day and they called the call center. And the call center really is just responsible for, identifying products and shipments and the logistics, essentially, of orders. And his friend got on the call and he said, "Can I have a pizza?" Like, very clearly has nothing to do with Zappos or ordering anything from Zappos, which is a shoe company, by the way. And the customer service rep, without missing a beat, says, "What's your zip code?" and looks up a bunch of pizza places that they could order pizza from. And this is just one of these examples where it's like, instead of saying, "Oh, that's not my job," or "No, I can't help," you're really actively looking for ways that you can help. And this makes all the difference when it comes to a service business. The next bit is kindness. And for me, kindness is really crucial when you're helping non-technical people. So non-technical people often already feel a little bit embarrassed that they are not tech savvy, as they say. And so I find that educating people without talking down to them is really empowering. So people like to know things. They like to be able to understand, what tools you're using or what the strategy for something is. And if you even have an inkling that somebody is willing to learn, educate them on your process. Tell them why you do the things you do and why you do it the way that you do it. And there is a way to do this that really sort of brings people into your process without you talking down to them. And they value this so much because that kind of kindness really builds trust. And I think people value that way more than we think. And finally, we have optimism. Optimism is an inventor's best friend. If you believe in innovation, you believe in optimism. And it is like a core quality that you believe things can get better, things can be improved. And when you have that quality, you're sort of actively looking for better ways to do things, more efficient ways to do things, more joyful ways to do things. You have that mindset. And when you have that, you're sort of always at the cutting edge of the industry because you're actively looking for that edge. And this really makes the difference between companies that stay the same and sort of stall out versus companies that grow and adapt with the times. So optimism is one of those core values I always really, really encourage people to practice. I know it seems weird to talk about practicing optimism, but it is a practice. You do have to sort of look for things. You look for not just the good, not just the silver lining, but you're looking for how can this be improved? And you don't get stuck in that. You just are open to it. It's really more so about that openness rather than holding that status quo of this is the way we've done things, so this is the way we're always going to do things. That's just not the case in an environment where things are changing so quickly. So whether it's technology in different forms, AI, the political climate, whatever it is, your ability to adapt is crucial. And you can only really adapt well, in my opinion, if you have this quality of optimism, this value of optimism. So that's a little bit about the GECKO model. If you found it interesting, please let me know. It's such a great framework for designing businesses that feel human. And I think that that is what's going to make the difference in years to come, especially with the rise of AI. I'm all for AI. I think it's absolutely fabulous, incredible for drafting your first drafts, for generating ideas, for brainstorming, particularly if you give the machine the type of context that it needs to produce amazing results. But if you're in the service world, your humanness is going to make all the difference. Your efficiency and your humanness and your ability not just to educate people, but to connect with them, that's going to be the real game changer in the service world years down the line. So if I can help you develop that, I will. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time, and I hope to see you soon.